So when you're talking about anti-inflammatory foods, you just mentioned the autoimmune paleo diet. So it sounds like you really lean on the autoimmune paleo diet as the gold standard for anti-inflammatory. Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah, pretty much. For one thing, mold toxins mimic some of our hormones, and also it stimulates the autoimmune pathway. And so some people develop autoimmune diseases, but even if you have not developed an autoimmune disease, when you look at labs, you can see that they're, in the CDC, like some of the differential, that they're heading in that direction. You've activated the adaptive immune system, and we want to calm that down. Mm. And and then, also the hormones are, mold toxins mimic our hormones in our body. And so we got to really look at the autoimmune paleo really lowers that the effect on the hormones somewhat. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So the autoimmune paleo, when you say anti-inflammatory, you're really talking about that protocol. Can you talk about what are foods that would not be considered or be considered pro-inflammatory as big buckets for people, just so they can say, okay, if there's a line in the sand, here's where I want to aim for, and here's where I want to avoid.
Right. Okay, so the main principle is that there are 8 categories of food that cause 80% of the inflammation in our body. So we avoid those 8 categories. And it doesn't have to be lifelong. People would kind of get a little bit freaked out, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to eat? Because that's everything in my diet. But, just removing those 8 foods. But we tell you, and you can get some good books on the AIP protocol that have all kind of great recipes. But removing things like it's wheat, corn, soy, dairy, eggs, shellfish, and then we also go. The AIP removes nightshades too, because a lot of people that have already developed an autoimmunity are very reactive to nightshades. So we recommend following that for minimum 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. And then at the same time, maybe a week into the diet, add in some herbals to kind of kill off. Most people develop candida or bacteria overgrowth because those mycotoxins, when we breathe them in, the bloodstream carries them right to the gut, and they kill our normal flora. And then we end up getting the more resistant strains that aren't killed off so much by the mycotoxins as an overgrowth. And then we get gas, bloating, and then the little villi get damaged, and that creates a whole nother, problem. So we want to really nourish them. So we give nourishing herbs and things to help repair that lining. And so when you're eating an anti-inflammatory diet, the inflammation in the gut goes way, way down, and a lot of the GI symptoms go away. And then we take that opportunity while it's not inflamed to do a gut protocol for, like 4 to 8 weeks, depending on, the person's response.
Sure.
But at the same time, what is really lacking in most mold recovery protocols is that stress response, because the amygdala is just firing, and that's the amygdala is the organ up here that it processes all incoming stimuli, whether it's external or internal, and it tells the body how to react. And so it's in this fight or flight, constantly sending off signals to release epinephrine, norepinephrine, and histamine and cortisol. And so then that suppresses your immune system even further. And so in order to recover your digestion, you have to get that cortisol down. So because you want a very ferocious immune response in the gut, and you can't do that if your amygdala is firing. So we also recommend incorporating an hour a day of stress reducing strategies. Mm-hmm. There's really good programs that do brain retraining, and then there's other things that you can do on your own.